Today, I'm going to demonstrate a recipe for you for this hearty lentil stew. Okay, we're going to get started on this hearty lentil vegetable stew. This is a favorite recipe of my family's. We're going to start, I have this set to saute, and it does have variable settings for the heat for saute. I have it going on normal. You can hear it's making some noise. So I'm going to put in just a little bit of broth. It was starting to get a little hot on us. And I'm going to go ahead and put in my onions and my carrots and my celery. Yep, it's good and hot. Don't worry about quantities because I'm going to provide you with the recipe. And then of course we have to have our celery as well. So we'll get that in there. Now I can tell you that if I'm in a really big hurry, I have skipped this step and the stew still turns out really well. The nice thing about doing this in advance of putting the other ingredients is it takes a little bit of that raw taste out of the onion. Now, how I diced my onion was I used this Vidalia slicer, little handy gadget. I love kitchen gadgets, and you just have to peel the onions and cut them up a little bit and put them in here, and then you get perfectly diced onion. And I'll put a link to it to our Amazon page. So it's been about 4 minutes since I put the onions, celery, and the carrots in, and they've been on the saute mode, and they've been getting nice and soft. So I'm ready to add the rest of the ingredients. So I have potatoes, and I like the Yukon Gold potatoes are my favorite. You can use whatever kind you like. And for this particular recipe, I do go ahead and peel the potatoes. On some other recipes I don't, but I don't want the skin coming off in my stew. So I go ahead and peel them. Then I have here, this is very low sodium vegetable broth. If you make your own, that's great, that's perfect. I don't do that. I know I should because it's cheap and easy. Let's see, 35 milligrams of sodium per cup, and it's like one of the lowest ones that I've been able to find. So we're going to need to have 8 cups of it. This is a very large batch of stew. That's why you need the 8-quart pressure cooker in order to hold it all. So we're just going to get that broth all in here. I'm leaving it on saute because while I'm adding all the other ingredients, the broth and everything is starting to heat up because of it being on the saute mode, and that will help it reach pressure quicker. So I like that. Of course, if you wanted to, you could put that broth in a large bowl or measuring cup, and you could heat it up in the microwave ahead of time. Now, I'm also going to add 2 cups of water because when I make the recipe, I wanted it to have more liquid in it, but I didn't want to open up another box of broth, and I just added water, and I thought it was perfectly fine, and so I've been doing that ever since. Now, this is just your regular green or brown lentils. You can get those everywhere. Then I'm also adding red lentils. Now the red lentils will cook down. They'll just kind of thicken the stew a bit. You won't really notice that they're in there because it's going to cook long enough to cook the brown lentils, and the red lentils cook quicker. And so this is just going to add creaminess and a thickness to the stew. So put those in. I have 2 cans of my favorite tomatoes. These are BPA-free cans, and these are the organic Muir Glen diced fire roasted tomatoes. In my area, most of our grocery stores carry these, as well as Whole Foods and Sprouts Market also has them. And I stock up when they go on sale, and Whole Foods will have them go on sale when the weather gets cooler, and they'll be about $1 a can, and I'll buy a couple of cases of them at that time. Now you'll see I am up to the max line, not quite. I'm a little bit under the maximum line. You never want to go over that in the pressure cooker because that can create problems. Now for my spices, since I don't cook with added salt, then I'm using Table Tasty, which is my favorite salt substitute. This tastes the most like salt of any of the salt substitutes that I have tried. If you use salt, go ahead and use salt in the stew. If you are a cook who cooks without salt, if you haven't tried Table Tasty, I encourage you to try it. I have it on my Amazon shop page. You can buy a small bottle of it because we like it and know that we're going to use it in our cooking. I do buy the bigger bag of it, and then I just refill my small bottles, and I'm adding a tablespoon of that. But don't worry about quantities right now because I'm going to provide you with the recipe. My favorite blend for stew or soup is this Herbes de Provence. This comes from Trader Joe's, but regular grocery stores also have it. It's just the Trader Joe's brand is so inexpensive compared to other places. So it's a really good value. They only carry it during the winter months. So probably around the end of October, they'll start to have it. They get in a certain amount, and then when it's sold out, it's out for the rest of the season until the next fall comes around. But like I said, you can get the Herbes de Provence from most spice stores or in the local grocery store as well. And we're adding some in for the cooking time, and then after it's done cooking, I'm also going to add a little bit more just to boost the flavor. Then this also calls for sweet paprika. So this is different than just regular paprika. It's also not smoked paprika. That'll give you a totally different flavor. It might be okay in this, just not everyone in my family likes the smoked paprika. So this is a Hungarian style sweet paprika, and I just love the nice flavor that it adds, and you can see it's such a beautiful color as well. So I'm going to put that in there, and I'm just going to give this a little stir because I like to get those kind of stirred in a little bit. I wish you guys could smell this because already it smells so amazing because I can smell the onion and the celery and all the Herbes de Provence. It's just, oh, going to be delicious. It's very hearty and very filling. It's a dish that husbands love, and my cameraman's smiling because it's also one of his favorites. Okay, so now we're just going to put our lid on, and we want to turn it so it's locked. I'm making sure that the valve is on sealing because there's sealing and there's venting, and we want it to be on sealing. So we have that going. And then we're going to come around here. I've got to get so I can see what I'm doing here. We're going to push cancel, and then I'm going to push the pressure cook because I want to cook this for 6 minutes. So I'm doing pressure cook 6. So what we're going to do is let it come down with natural pressure because I want to make sure that everything is well cooked. So I can walk away from it at this point in time. I don't have to babysit it, and I can come back and my stew will be ready for the next step. So I'll see you in a few minutes. Hi you guys, so it's been 54.5 minutes since I put the soup in and turned it to start for 6 minutes. And of course it has to reach high pressure, then it cooked at high pressure for 6 minutes, and then I've been letting it come down naturally on the pressure. So at 54.5 minutes, we timed it just to see how long it would take. And you have to remember, this is a lot of volume because it's a full 8 quarts here of this stew. So the button just dropped, and I'm going to be opening the lid and stirring in some extra ingredients. So I like to add a couple tablespoons of just a regular balsamic vinegar. This is just the Costco regular brand. It's very inexpensive. I just happen to really like the flavor of it. You know, back before I was gluten-free and SOS free, I used the Worcestershire sauce a lot, and since I don't use that anymore, I find that a regular balsamic vinegar just adds a nice flavor. It's kind of that umami flavor, I guess, in stews and some soups and some chilies. So I'll add a couple tablespoons of that. I'm gonna add some peas, and then I like to give it a little boost of seasoning at the end. So a little bit of more of the Herbes de Provence. I just feel like that just adds to it. So we'll take the lid off and see what we've got. It smells so good. Okay, you can see that the tomatoes have kind of floated to the top and some of the seasonings. So I'm gonna give it a little stir here because I want you to be able to see how pretty this is. See there. You can see those chunks of carrots and the celery and the potatoes. So I didn't add my freshly ground black pepper before I cooked it, so I'm going to add some now. You can leave it out if you don't care for it. You can add as much as you wish. You know, if you can't find the Herbes de Provence, you could use Italian seasoning, or you could just mimic the flavor of the Herbes de Provence. You can find online the ingredients that are in them, and you could just use a little bit of those ingredients and flavor it yourself. It'll be delicious. Okay, we're going to put in the balsamic and a couple teaspoons more of the Herbes de Provence. And I have frozen peas. They've actually thawed out at this point. And we're going to add those in as well. Just gonna slide things out of my way. Now, if you don't like peas, you can use corn. Some of my readers have come back and told me that they used corn instead of peas. Their kids or their spouse prefers corn, and that would be good. You could actually use some of each. Maybe a cup of each would be really fun. Now, in the wintertime, I love to have a couple ladles of this over a chopped salad, and that just tastes so good on a cold winter day. I'll still have the chopped salad, so I'm getting all those greens, but then I have the warm stew on top, and it's just simply delicious. So we like to have this with a chopped salad. It's just refreshing and delicious. And on the blog, I have a chopped salad that has some grapes in it that is really fun to have with this. So I think we'll just show you what it looks like ladled up here in a bowl. This is a really popular recipe with my readers. So there you have it. So I hope you'll try this recipe and enjoy it as much as we do. If you liked this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and next to the subscribe tab underneath the video, click on the bell, that little bell icon that's there, and you'll get a notification every time I do a new video or when I go live. So thank you so much for watching today. I'm Tammy, and I help you get healthy and stay healthy, one meal at a time.